Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. The character assassination of Mr. Andrews here. By Mr. James Hanratty.
It's all been a bit sincere, hasn't it? So, yeah, good change there.
Dim the lights!
Yeah, it's going to get ugly, dim the lights. So, first of all, thank you, Smog, for your kind words. It was no trouble making you look like a member of the fringes of society. Thank you, Aaron, for your heartfelt words. Thank you, Kareen, for your heartfelt words. Thank you, Reena, for your wonderful words as well. Something very heartfelt. Thank you, Margaret and Peter, for your contribution, of course, to the day as well. And I don't want to feel left out. Thank you, Tiffany Wu. And thank you, Pigeon, for not swearing, which was something of a surprise. So on behalf of the bridesmaids and myself, thank you, Andrew and Reena, for asking us to be involved in the wedding. It really has been a unique and beautiful day, and we're all very grateful for it. And it's obviously a testament to your powers of organisation and vision. I know firsthand what it's like to organise one wedding, so to organise two on the same day can't have been easy. And Smithy, I don't suppose you'll make a habit of being at New Covent Garden Flower Market at 4:30 a.m, but your efforts have paid off. So now's the time for you to relax and enjoy the rest of the day. After all, what could go wrong from here? I think you'd agree, and Andrew's already mentioned it, but the bridesmaids look absolutely lovely today. It's Nisha, Kareen and Shelley. And I'm going to actually also ask you to do a toast in the same way Andrew did, if you'd be upstanding once more. A quick toast to the bridesmaids. Well, girls, as I said earlier, if you're just not quietly late, Alice will never hear. But lovely as they look, they've of course been outshone not once but twice today by Reena, who we all agree looks absolutely stunning. So finally, for the formalities, I'd like to thank you, God, or Bhagwan Kashukahai.
Yes!
That's a bit of Hindi. For allowing me to live to see Mark Smith, Mark Garth and Richard Barge dressed in kurta pyjamas. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Jim Hanratty and I'm your best man. I met Andrew when we were 11 years old at Brownley St Mary's High School in Preston, and then spent the next 7 years distracting him while he was trying to concentrate. We then travelled the backwaters of the country watching Preston North End. We went to university in the same city, and we now live and work in the same city, so I feel fairly well qualified to speak about Andrew today. When thinking about Andrew, it did occur to me that he's a very difficult person to pin down. It's difficult to pigeonhole, you might say, which is kind of interesting because it's one of the few animal orifices he hasn't touched, actually. But more on that later. The thing that occurred to me about Smithy is that he's always tread a very fine line between the geeky guys and the popular guys. Let me give you an example. At school, he likes watching football, but anyone who's seen him play football knows he's truly dreadful. He likes other sports, but not quite so much as fishing. He likes music, so long as it's played on a Saturday afternoon on Radio 2. He likes current affairs, so long as they're covered by Country File. Perhaps the most recent and flagrant example of Smithy's fingers slipping from the precipice of popularity was when, a couple of years ago, when Andrew started his now current job at Welbeck Land, he was given every young man's dream, a £25,000 car allowance to spend on any car he wants. Andrew had no children, no constraints whatsoever. What did he buy? Did he buy a Porsche? Did he even buy an Audi TT? No, he bought a blue Saab saloon with cream leather and walnut interior. He tells me it's got fantastic boot space. Another thing that occurs to me about Smithy is that, in some ways, on the one hand, he's very principled and single-minded. Or is he? For as long as I can remember, Smithy's been a staunch socialist. Fully paid-up member of the Labour Party, never happier than when attending drop-in clinics for Labour MP Mark Hendrick in Preston, talking about such local issues as the bypass from Watling to Preston. Fiercely proud of his working-class roots and the town from which he hails. He once said to me, "Jim, I am never leaving Preston." Fast forward 10 years, you find him living in leafy Buckinghamshire, driving a Saab saloon, and perhaps most startlingly, managing 100 acres of land in Marylebone for the entirely inherited wealth of the venerable Howard de Walden family. Perhaps that red die isn't so deeply cast after all. And another thing about Smithy that is hard to pin down is that he's, in some ways, very responsible. Or is he? Andrew drives a sensible car. He's, as we've heard, he sold his soul and principles for a sensible job. He makes adequate provision for his pension. Andrew has, and always will have, had a sensible haircut. In many ways, Andrew is every man. On the other hand, Andrew's a lunatic. Don't take it from me. In the course of researching this speech, I got in touch with Andrew's mum, Margaret, to ask what secrets could be disturbed from the bottom of the ocean of Andrew's childhood. Bearing in mind this is from his mum, here's what I got back by email, and I quote: "Parked tractors outside house, looked after ostriches, kept hens, taught hens to perch, overturned a tractor and trailer, crashed my car into a tree, came home one day to find my car in bits in the garage, flooded my house," we've heard about this, "came back from holiday to find no carpets, the ceiling's down and the toilet's in the garage." What sort of a flood ends up with the toilets in the garage? Found him naked on the bathroom floor. And that's from his mum. So as I say, what you see isn't always what you get with Andrew. Having said that, there are some things which are constant. One of these has been his propensity for getting lost. There's a time, aged 3, when Andrew's nana was looking after him, and Andrew's nana went out into the garage to do something. Andrew thought he was alone, and ended up walking from Wanley to Bamber Bridge, a couple of miles, on his own, when his grandma was in the garden shed. Apparently he was found at Bamber Bridge police station drinking orange juice, asking the nice policeman to find some Guinness for his dad. 2 years later, age 5, Andrew and family were at the motor show at the Manchester G-Mex, and Andrew went missing intentionally so he could hear his name read out over the tannoy system. Now, it's tempting to put these events down to the innocence of youth, but if anything, things have got worse. Cast your mind back to the summer of 2007. English cricket had the nation gripped on the back of a home Ashes victory a couple of years earlier, followed by a disappointing defeat over in Australia. So it was with some anticipation that England hosted the West Indies at Lord's for the opening test of the summer. Andrew was lucky enough to be invited there on a corporate entertainment package by Will Gay, who's here somewhere. However, as the events unfolded on the field, Andrew decided not to focus on the cricket, but instead focus on the booze that was flowing plentifully. By 4 p.m, not only had Andrew not even seen a ball, he'd not even seen the Lord's pitch. And then, of course, once again gone missing. He was found at 5 o'clock by Will Gay, sitting outside Lord's crying, asking for Reena. He apparently spent the next 2 hours bumping into people in St John's Wood, crying, "You're asking for the new Reena." But perhaps Andrew reached the pinnacle of his Lord Lucan impressions earlier this year when he was officially recorded as a missing person by the police. Yes! And had to sign a piece of paper declaring that he was indeed Andrew Smith. Apparently Andrew, not for the first time, had fallen asleep on the train home to Beaconsfield, missed the station and ended up in Bicester North, and then got back on the train the other way missed the station again. Ended up back in London. Reena didn't even know he was out. So by this time, Reena had phoned not only the police but the directors at work, and Andrew was officially a missing person. This phenomenon apparently is not limited to the southeast either. Andrew, how many nights have you spent in the sidings at Blackpool North Station? About 4. So we've got a little something for you to hope that this doesn't happen in the future. Got a little badge for you actually, if I can find it. Here it is. This is something you can wear on the way home just in case it happens again. Please wake me up at Beaconsfield. It was interesting during the Hindu ceremony earlier on that one of the messages was work hard. Because there's one thing Andrew's always done, it's work hard. He's had a variety of jobs, from putting toppings on pizzas, that was the elegance department of Sean's Pizzas, by the way, loading Harry Potter books onto a truck and then taking them off again, loading carpet towels into a truck and taking them off again, taking glass screens for televisions across one side of a factory to the other. He was put on the cordial section at Sainsbury's supermarket because he was late one day and it was heavy on cordials. He was putting 36 bags of Benson crisps in a box at any one time. So it's fair to say that Andrew's fought the hard way up to his now venerable role with Welbeck Land. But nothing ever made Andrew happier than when working on local farms. As many of you will know, Andrew's had a perhaps unhealthy fascination with farm animals. When some of us at school would talk about our weekends, we'd say we played football, we played on the computer, whatever it was. Andrew was, shall we say, manipulating certain biological processes in bulls. And I would like to go on record as saying, despite what the Lancashire Evening Post wrote about this, the stories about the sheep were not fair. Yes, there was fondness, at times intimacy, but to call him Andrew Smith was just too much. But as well as Andrew's done in finding Reena, so has Reena in finding Andrew. Andrew has always been a fantastic friend. He never fails to make me laugh, whatever the circumstances. He's entirely selfless and always happy to go out of his way to help. Just a couple of years ago, I was moving house, and the night before, Andrew called me to ask if I needed a hand moving house. Anyone who's moved house knows how difficult it is, and then to volunteer it was really kind. Of course I accepted. But it was just a sort of helpful and kind offer that's typical of Andrew. He's godfather to my son Seamus, and he's a really special person. So I think both of you have found somebody special, and you should cherish that always.
Well said, Jim.
So during the church ceremony earlier on, we were told that you shouldn't get too close together as branches because you'll suffocate one another. During the Hindu ceremony, we were told 100% together, don't do any personal shopping. I don't know which one's true, but in my limited experience of marriage, what I would say is never forget the way you felt today. Never forget the way you felt when you first met one another, because you've got something very special and you'll always have that. Finally, there are certain things you shouldn't talk about as a best man. One of them is ex-girlfriends. It's funny how you feel the atmosphere in a room change. But rules are there to be broken, and there is somebody here actually who's very, very special to Andrew. I suppose she could probably be described as Andrew's first love. And I didn't want to go to class. So it remains for me to say, can you please be upstanding and raise a toast?
She's not coming home with us.
To the bride and groom.